Hey and welcome, Miss Kira Speaks. Please do your girl a huge favor and stick around to the end of the video. Hit that subscribe button and make sure your notifications are on. We're here for another episode of Snowfall, Season 6, Episode 3, Door of No Return. So when the episode opens, we're in Accra, which is in Ghana, and I was super duper excited. Me personally, I listened to Ratchet and Respectable, which is a podcast by Demetria L. Lucas, and she was just recently living in Accra. So I was like, oh my God. I know it's silly. Me personally, I've never been to any part of Africa, and I really want to get there one day. I want to go to Ghana, I want to go to South Africa, and I want to go to Johannesburg and get on that blue train. I'm rambling, but Snowfall just gave me some ideas. So we see Leon and we see Wanda, and they are looking good. Okay, good with a T, that's right. They're out there and they're shopping and just living their best life. And if you follow Gail Bean on Instagram, she was showing, like, I think she listed the different locations where they filmed in Africa. And I was like, yes, kudos to Snowfall. I think you guys definitely would make John Singleton proud. Now, so we see this building and it has a picture of a man's face on it. It has a quote, and Leon kind of looks up and he reads it, and you have to wonder if it kind of sparks something, you know, up in here. And the quote read, "The errors of the past must be corrected in order to reestablish the confidence of our people in a secure future." And it was by Rawlings. So as Leon is talking to Wanda, he's telling her that he has to go back. And I was like, Leon, why do you have to go back? And Wanda wanted to know, Leon, why do you have to go back? Wanda, she doesn't want to go. She says there's nothing for her there, and she feels seen there, and they don't have to worry about cops, and they don't have to worry about backstabbing friends, and it's just like they can be who they truly are. So they're at, I forgot what the name of the building is. If I remember it, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. And the guy's kind of giving them like a little history lesson. And we're talking about selling black bodies. He gets into tribalism. He gets into the Middle Passage. And then they go down into, you could tell that they're moved by what he's saying. And they go down into, I think they're called the slave caves. And it was just a lot. It was pretty heavy, but this is where we focus on the beginning of the episode. So after the tour, Leon and Wanda, they're talking, and Leon starts talking about some of the things that the guy was saying. It resonated, and he felt like he was doing the same thing when he was back at home to their people. He says he feels like it's easier to escape slavery than it is crack. And, you know, Wanda wants to know how so. And he said, if you give a slave an opportunity for freedom, he'll take it and he'll never look back. You give the same opportunity to a crackhead, and they're always going to look back. And I said to myself, Wanda has come a long way, because she wasn't bothered by the statement, knowing her previous, you know, her past. She was kind of reflecting on it, and it was kind of ironic in a way, because Leon is the one that kind of was looking back at this point, and Wanda wasn't. Wanda feels like he can help the people back home from there. He can send money to help with Alton Shelter. He can, you know, bring people over there to kind of see what it's like. And he said he would still have to go back, you know, and get his money and set that type of situation up. But Leon tells her that he can't do it without her, and she wants to know where that leaves her. And we find out exactly where that is, and Leon and Wanda get married, and it was such a beautiful scene. They looked like true royalty in their African Ghanaian garb. It was a moment, and they're celebrating, and he's, you know, telling one of the guys that he has to go back, and he's worried. And that's, you know, 16 minutes into the episode, that's where our good time ends. And our boy Leon and our girl Wanda, they go back home. So they're talking to Einstein, who was supposed to be the brains of the group, and he had no idea that Africa was civilized. And I said, you know, that probably was a lot of people back in the 80s, you know, because they're showing you the commercials on TV, but Ghana is indeed civilized, and Wanda's telling him that. And the projects are looking a hot ass mess. Leon wants to know why Big D has all of these guys like armed around there. And Einstein tells him that it's because of Franklin. Leon's like, Franklin isn't in the game no more. And Einstein's like, he wasn't. And then he ripped off Jerome and Louis. Leon's standing there looking confused. And Einstein was like, okay, so basically, let me give you the rundown, and we get a series of quick scenes to see all the mess and nonsense that's happened. He says, after that, Jerome hit back, and from then, stuff has been crazy. And then we see gunshots and Jerome and Louis getting low in front of the hotel. And I was wondering if they now lived in that hotel. Get down in the comments and let me know, because I could have swore later on in the episode they were still at the hotel. And I know they mentioned moving, and they probably don't want to go back home. So I was just kind of curious about that. And then he tells him that Louis sent the cops after Franklin, but Einstein says he doesn't know what happened with that. He says that somebody sent men in ski masks to grab Franklin at the real estate offices, and we see just madness. It was like the Wild Wild West. Louis' club got hit after that, and Leon wants to know what that has to do with Big D. Or he says Dion, and Einstein's like, it could be that Kane's guy killed Big D's cousin at the barbershop. So then Big D went back at Kane's guys and hit them up at the car wash. And he says the craziest one is Franklin almost took out Big D while he was taking a and they're showing us all of these scenes, and it's crazy. And he only got off because it was like police officers walked into the bathroom, so Franklin had to put his piece up and kind of thank you for your services and slide on out. Leon is in total disbelief, and he says he wants to talk to Dion and find out exactly, what happened and what's going on. And I'm guessing that we had, some sort of a time jump, and there have been a few months since they were gone, and all of these things had happened. So we see Franklin, he's at a restaurant, I think, with Cassandra, which is V's mom, and V, and they're just, chitting and chatting, having themselves a good time. And, fill me in, he wants to know. And she tells him about the plans to get the papers or the files out of the guy's office. So I take it that they found the guy, because what she was supposed to be doing is finding the money guy that stole Franklin's money that Teddy used. So I'm assuming that's what she meant, that she found him and they were going to go into the office and get whatever paperwork or files they needed to get. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me down in the comments. So I think he's the DEA guy, Tony. We see him get photos of Gustavo making a drop to Louis, and I said, that's your ass, Louis. And then later, Teddy is telling him that, they need to head out like early in the morning to go to Costa Rica, and Gustavo is shook. Later, he gives Tony a call and he meets with Tony, but he didn't, Tony's like, where's the plane leaving from? Where's the, Gustavo, he don't know nothing. So he's just scared. He wants to go and get back as soon as he can. And Teddy goes to meet with a group of guys to get everything together, because Teddy basically knows it's a setup. And I think the episode where they discussed it, I didn't even mention it, but we saw Ruben talking to whoever he worked with at the KGB, and they were telling them to do the last gun run for Avi, who's already gone, and Teddy knows he's gone, so he knew that Teddy was going to know it's a setup, and indeed he does. Then a little bit later on in the episode, we see Ruben gets a few pictures of Gustavo with Tony when they meet up, and I said, everybody is getting pictures. The DEA, the KGB. It's going to get interesting this season, y'all. So Leon goes to see Big D, Dion, whatever you want to call his name, and I don't care. And I remember Leon was not fond of D, but D's spot looks like the doggone trap house. It's folks in there smoking and getting high. It's folks in there having sex. And meanwhile, he's just playing video games like, don't none of it matter. Big D is not a boss. He has no leadership vibes for your girl. So Leon is asking him, like, why did Franklin try to kill you? Like, he doesn't need what you have. He makes his own money, and Big D's like, he used to. Word on the street is he lost what he made, and that's why he hit up his uncle's warehouse. Leon's like, and what does any of that have to do with you? And Big D's like, not a doggone thing. He asked him, he's like, you trying to come back and work for me? Leon's like, nah, I'm good. So Big D tells him, as long as you stay in your lane, we good. So Teddy and Gustavo, they arrive in Costa Rica. Like I said, they meet with a group of guys and they give them the rundown because they want to know, who is this? Who is this coming? Because they know it's not Avi, because Avi's gone. So after they're finished talking and dotting their I's and crossing their T's, Gustavo is talking to Teddy, and he's like, he's been seeing on the news and that the war is going to be over soon. And so when the war is over, like, where does that leave the two of them? And Teddy's like, I guess you go your way and I go my way. And I said, that's bullshit, Teddy. But just then people roll up, and then people was up to no good. Gustavo you know, he throws a signal. They take most of the guys out and they try to get one of the guys to talk, but he don't talk. So they take him out, they gather up as much stuff as they can, and they hop on the plane, and they're up out of there. So now when they're on the plane, Teddy's going through everything because he needs just a little blues clues, just a little something to figure out what it is. And then Gustavo's asking him what he's looking for, and lo and behold, he finds like a one lone screw, and he's looking at this screw, and he's looking at this screw, and then he twist the screw off, and magically, the screw separates, and there's a little tiny piece of paper in there. And Gustavo's asking him what it says, and he's like, he doesn't know, but he knows who it is because it's Russian, so he already knows what it is. Well, not necessarily what it is, but he knows for sure who it is. So then we see Wanda, and she goes to see her grandmother, and her grandmother will not let her in. And at first, I felt a little bad for Wanda, but then Grandma got to talking. You know, she wants to know where her rose-colored pearls are, and Wanda's like, she doesn't know. That's when she was getting high, but now, she's sober, and she doesn't do that anymore. And she apologizes, but Grandma is buying none of it. So she tells her that she bought her a necklace from Ghana, and Grandma's like, what the fuck do you want? I'll miss you, Wanda says. And Grandma's like, you should have thought about that before you robbed me, you hit me, and you cursed me before God. And I said, damn, Wanda. But as we know, drugs are a powerful thing. So Wanda asked her, like, can I at least give you my gift? And Grandma's like, listen, I'm gonna close this door and you can put it on a knob if you want. And Grandma closes the door in her face. And Wanda, she cries and she puts the necklace on the door and she walks away. And this is when, Wanda, even though she's made all this progress, has to deal with the reality of what she did in her past and who she was in her past, which is probably part of the reason why she wanted to stay in Ghana. So we get a quick little scene, and it looks like Franklin got the property that he wanted because we see him at kind of like a groundbreaking situation. I don't even know exactly what to call it. And Sissy's there, and they're talking, and I got worried because it's a wide open space. And as we saw earlier in the episode, he had been going at Jerome and Louis and Jerome had been going at him. And I said, oh, are they going to come shoot up the location? But I'm assuming not, because we did see Franklin later in the episode, but they took us away from the scene, so we didn't see anything there, but we saw Franklin later. So we're to assume that he walked away in one piece. We see Leon, and he goes to pay Unc and Louis a visit, and he's got a gift from them. It's a wedding present all the way from Ghana, and their guy is like checking in the box to see what the box is, and he's getting the pat down, and he comes in, and he's ready to talk. And Unc, he's on his normal energy. It must be nice to run off to Africa and come back and rub it in all our faces. And Leon, like I said, he's like, I came back to talk, to figure out what's going on. And he wanted to say, make peace. And Jerome's like, oh, I'll dare you to say it. And Louis like, listen, they came at us here in the club. They came at us in the hotel on our honeymoon. And then when Jerome extended his hand to Franklin, he bit it. And Louis, I would feel sorry for you, my dear, but boo, you know better. Leon's like, listen, I understand all of that, but if one of y'all kills each other, like you kill Franklin or Franklin kills you, it's gonna kill Sissy. What the fuck that got to do with you? You ain't family. This is Uncle Jerome saying this to Leon. As long as Leon has been around that family, as ride or die as Leon has been, this is Uncle Jerome saying this to Leon, and you can see the hurt in his face. Like, what's that supposed to mean? Franklin used you, same as he used us. Had you catching bodies? You hit a kid and you see the light. You want to make peace. Get the fuck out of here. And he tells him, and take your stupid gift with you. And Leon's like, it's your gift. You can do with it what you will. And Leon, he leaves. And I hate what they did with Uncle Jerome's character. I try not to make these too long and get into too much depth with certain things. But it's like, Uncle Jerome, he's always been pretty much a stand-up guy. He wanted none of this. This was all Louis' thing. I probably said the same shit last season, but the same remains true. And last season, they built him up so much, and we loved Uncle Jerome so much, and we thought he was going to go last season, and we were upset. But now, it's this season, he's on some bullshit all on the strength of Louis, and now it's like, now kind of nobody cares that you go like after the Black Diamond thing. Like I said, I just hate what they did to Uncle Rome. Just giving us total asshole. Anyway, let's move on. We are at the end of the episode when Leon goes to visit Franklin at his place, and Franklin's place is messed up. And Franklin tells him that Louis and Jerome sent a crooked cop, search warrant and all, looking for what? We don't know, because Leon knows, like we know, ain't nothing there. And Franklin, he knew what it was. So Leon is asking him if he's going to leave. And Franklin's like, I'll leave when I'm good and ready. So Leon has bought some burgers, and they sit down and they about to, you know, break bread, have a little kumbaya, a little chit chat moment. And Leon starts to, you know, him and Franklin are talking about Africa and how Africa is and how beautiful it is. But Leon felt like he was running, which is why he came back. Whew. So he starts talking about how bad they had things, but they have a new leader. But this new leader is not, you know, he's not afraid to like have bloodshed to make everything come together. And I was like, wondering if that's going to be the same scenario here over in the States. And he brings up Avi, and Franklin has to tell him, like, you know, Avi's gone. Somebody burnt up his place and we haven't seen him since. And again, the look on Leon's face. And Franklin, he apologizes. Of course, you know, Leon wants to know who did it, but Franklin, he doesn't have any of that information. So Franklin's basically like, he made a lot of mistakes in his life. He can't go back now, you know, but I can't remember if he said he regrets it or not, but he tells Leon that his back is up against the wall at this point. Then he tells Leon, if you're going to be here and you're going to be in it, you got to pick a side. Or take your wife, get on a plane, and get the fuck out of here while you can. He's basically like, you got me? And Leon's like, yeah, I got you. And that is where the episode ends. And I was like, well, Unc kind of made it easy for him to make the decision as to whose side he was going to be on, because he don't feel fool with Dion like that. Now Unc just kind of like spit in his face. So, child, what were your thoughts on the episode? You know, I love the episode. I love seeing, you know, Ghana. It was beautiful. I hate what this episode means to Leon. Like, I didn't want him and Wanda to come back. And I really just want him to listen to Franklin and take his wife and go. But we know that that's not what's going to happen. Like, I hate to see it for them, because him and Wanda have been through so much. But the light bulb went on. They got themselves together. And it's just like, dang, I just want y'all to shine. But looking at the previews going forward, it looks like they're going to hit us heavy with the next episode, and I am here for it. I'll end here. Leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments, or just let me know that you stopped by, and join me back here for episode 4. Peace.